but
It's,
we don't have to have.
I will call the October 6, 2025 meeting of the Indianola City Council to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call the roll, please. Okey-doke.
Councilmember Ray,
Here.
Dalby,
Here.
Armstrong.
Here.
Beach. Soames. Here. Lane.
Here.
Mayor Richardson.
Present. With that said, we now have public comment. For those of you, I know that, Toby, you want to speak on the item as it comes up on the agenda. Van, are you wanting to do?
Same.
Okay. Arlene, you are up then if you want to go ahead and speak. Again,
Arlene Dunn.
yes, just a moment here. We'll try to keep you to about 3 minutes, so keep that in mind. Thank you.
And I brought with me tonight a comment from one of the neighbors. You all have a copy there. He placed that before he left on vacation. I do want to thank the council for the cleanup in the backyard and the brush along the side of the house. Looks a whole lot nicer. And however, we still need something to be done with the front of that house. I've tried to talk with law enforcement upstairs. Unfortunately, nobody has called me back, and I haven't been able to make a contact to find out what they are going to do about the fire hazard of the birds in the siding. They are still going in there. And then with the deck that is rotten and falling off, this creates fire hazard. She's spending a lot more time at this home than her other home, and so I'm even more concerned. As we all know, and I don't need to tell you all that the number one cooking is fire hazard. She's been having, there's bare bulbs down in her basement. And I'm really concerned about birds having all the twigs and the straw and the things that they have taken in to that wall of that siding. So she has a fire. My house is very, very close to her house and on the other side of that house. So I'm trying to find out if this has been reported as a fire hazard and if what's being done about it. And I'm trying to avoid having 16 homes of people down here at the city council. So we don't have all them people. I'm trying to be the spokesperson for that neighborhood. So I'm not sure where to go from here because I can't find out any status.
Thank you. We obviously don't comment during public comment, but staff is here and they're listening, and we'll go from there. So
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, so we've got a couple that will talk during the agenda item, which is the truck route. So we'll move on to the next item here on the agenda, which is the consent agenda. Are there any items we need to pull? Hearing none, I take a motion then to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Jake, it's up to you.
All right, starting with item D, approval of claims. We've got a liquor license renewal for Hy-Vee. Their current license expires October 22nd of this month. Consideration approval of temporary liquor license for Sodexo. This would be for a tailgating event held on October 25th. Consideration approval of payment application number 4, $136,000 to Sternquist. This is for payment on the West Clinton Avenue project, and we will have a future item accepting and closing that project out. Item E, F, and G, these are all aligning city codes with new state law. We had our first reading at the last meeting, and now we would just be having second reading on all of those items. Again, that's just to align city code with state law. H is a resolution accepting a proposal from the Overhead Door Company of Des Moines for the fire department overhead door replacement project. The existing doors have surpassed their expected service life. Over the past several years, the department has encountered significant issues, including non-functioning or failed equipment. The low bid from Overhead Door Company of Des Moines is recommended at just over $39,000, and this would be paid from local option sales tax dollars. Item I is a resolution authorizing a contract with Indianola Main Street. This would be to enter an agreement to allow Indianola Main Street to store the barricades that they had purchased in the city's annex building at 410 North Jefferson Way. There would be no charge for that storage, but this would remove the city's liability for storing them in that location. Item J authorizes the execution of an encroachment agreement with Indianola Main Street. This would allow for the placement of 2 monument signs to be placed in the city's right-of-way downtown on the square. The agreement holds Indianola Main Street responsible for items including but not limited to the sign construction, installation, and maintenance. Item K would be a resolution appointing city representatives to Central Iowa Regional Transportation Planning Alliance. That would be Bryce. Item L would be also appointing Bryce to the Mid-Iowa Planning Alliance for Community Development. Item M is a consideration of approval of a Home-Based Iowa Initiative application from Brian Bartz and authorization of a handwritten warrant for $1,500. A veteran who is discharged under honorable conditions according to Chapter 35.1 Code of Iowa and had Title 10 active service duty for 90 days is eligible for this benefit. All paperwork is in order for approval for Mr. Bartz. And then item N is the approval of 1 property for urban revitalization designation, and then O is a salary resolution.
Thank you. Any comments?
I do want to say thank you for working with Main Street to come to an agreement on storing the barricades. I think it's a positive after they purchased them, so kudos to staff for figuring that out.
I'd like to say kudos to Chief Hurd if he's here. He was a big part of finding that location, so thank you to him. And then also thank you to Bryce for working with me on the encroachment agreement. So 2 great examples of staff working with one of our key community partners to find solutions to a couple of items.
About the signs, thank you to the county as well for working with us on reallocating the ARPA money to fund those signs for Main Street. That was money left over from the Hometown Pride, but it fit within the scope, so it was a win-win as well.
I had a quick question on Jay. So it's about those signs. Are we sure that they're gonna be offset enough to where they're not obstructing or vision for traffic turning left, turning right? I know they're sitting on the
Southeast and
northwest, southeast corners.
Yeah.
I just, Christine had talked to us about that utility box, and
On Highway 92,
yeah, I just wanted to make sure that these signs were gonna be set back far enough where they weren't impeding vision.
Yes, sir. Bryce Johnson, Director of Community and Economic Development. We did look at the sign permit and the locations. We worked with Erica Roberts, President of the Main Street Iowa program here, to correctly place those so they're out of what we call the vision triangle. So they'll be on the south or the northwest corner, kind of on the right-hand side. So when you're coming up to the stop sign, it's not going to be in that planter directly next to it. It's going to be on the farther one to kind of give you more visual. And then same but opposite on the other side in the southeast corner. So yes, they will be outside of the vision triangle.
Appreciate it, Bryce. Thank you.
Are they still going where the original, we had originally with the streetscape project, we were gonna put some kind of sign there, and it ended up getting cut due to budget with the streetscape?
I think that was that the arch, I believe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same area, opposite cutout.
Right. Yep.
We just had to move over, but
Yeah.
same, yeah, same place.
Yeah, they were already earmarked for signs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you. There are no further questions then. The clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Brave? Selby?
Aye.
Moving on then to council committee reports. Does anybody have any reports they wish to provide?
I just have a quick update for IMU. There was a special session scheduled for last Thursday And it was scheduled because they needed to give a 1-year notice on a 28E agreement. They'll be providing more information to their subscribers on what it all means. So nothing from our angle at this time.
Any other council committee reports? If not, then we'll go with the consideration of the reappointment of Grant Darrah to the Indianola Public Arts Commission for a term beginning July 1, 2025 and ending July 1, 2028. Motion and a second.
I'll move.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Ray?
Aye.
Dolby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Motion carries 5-0. Consideration of the appointment of Aaron Labertu to the Sustainability Committee for a term beginning July 1, 2025 and ending in July 1, 2028. I need a motion and a second.
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Lane?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Dolby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. On to the community update. So, lots going on here this month and lots going on into this, a little bit into next month. October 8th, Central plays Simpson in soccer. It's 5 o'clock is the women's game, 7:30 is the men's game. Public safety open house at City Hall. October 9th, which is this Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30. I have a granddaughter here that wants to climb in your fire trucks, Chief, so there we go. October 11th, we got a football game at Simpson at 1 o'clock. Is Indianola in Sioux City, I think, on Friday night, if I'm not mistaken?
No.
Ankeny?
Yeah.
Ankeny, okay. Ankeny Centennial or Ankeny High?
Leon.
All righty. October 11th, high school volleyball tournament is here. October 14th, the Mayor's Youth Council is doing a fundraiser at the Indianola volleyball game. They are doing that for Unravel. That will be their last fundraiser for that, I believe, this fall for that event. And if you're not familiar, Unravel, we did a proclamation a week or two ago, and that is for childhood cancer. So if you're going to attend the game, please consider working with the Mayor's Youth Council there. Advocate Candidates Night is also October 14th. That I believe is at the Presbyterian Church starting at 7 o'clock. October 23rd is when the Mayor's Youth Council will be presenting a check to Unravel at that time as well, and that is to be determined where that will happen, but we'll get that figured out. Mayor's Youth Council will also start touring businesses on the square October 16th and 17th. Thanks to Erica Roberts and Barry Green with Main Street. They are going to split the groups up and lead them around. That'll be doing during the noon hour, so businesses on the square will have an opportunity to host those folks for a few minutes. And it all started when I asked the question, how many have been in businesses on our square? And there were about 4 hands went up out of about 20. So we're going to introduce them to the folks on the square. Fall cleanup at the brush facility on October 18th is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. ISU disc golf tournament at Pickard Park on October 18th. Looks like Doug's got his work cut out for him out there again. So Parks and Recreation Children's Halloween Party on the square is October 25th, 10 a.m. to noon. We also have the Indianola Main Street events, Wine, Witches, and Brews on Friday, October 24th. And according to the report this morning at the Main Street meeting, that numbers are looking pretty good. They still have room, but they're hitting their goals, I believe, or will be soon. That's on October 24th, and Home for the Holidays on Saturday, November 22nd. Trick or Treat Night is October 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. And Indianola area businesses, if you haven't received one already, you will be receiving a letter from Iowa Workforce Development for their employee counts. This data will be used in the Labor Shed study, which is an important economic development tool for Warren County and Indianola. So please respond to those, and those are due by the end of October. So those are the community updates I have at the moment. So we are going to have a proclamation for Cybersecurity Month. Jason, are you up first, or you want me to do the presentation or the?
Proclamation first and then.
Sounds good. All right, so Cybersecurity Awareness Month proclamation. Whereas the city of Indianola recognizes that our daily lives, economic prosperity, and national security increasingly depend on reliability and security of our online infrastructure, and whereas the internet and digital technologies have become integral to the operations of the city of Indianola, enabling essential public services, facilitating communication, fostering engagement, and whereas malicious cyber activities, including phishing, ransomware, and various forms of online fraud, pose persistent and evolving threats to the integrity of our digital systems, privacy of our citizens' data, and the continuity of city services. And whereas public-private collaboration and heightened awareness are crucial to strengthening our collective cybersecurity defenses, as every individual, business, and government entity plays a vital role in protecting our shared digital space. And whereas the city of Indianola is committed to empowering its employees and residents with the knowledge and tools necessary to navigate the digital world safely and securely through ongoing training, robust technological safeguards, and community education initiatives. And whereas the Department of Homeland Security and the National Cybersecurity Alliance recognize October as National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, promoting a safer, more secure, and trusted internet for all. Now therefore, I, Steve Richardson, Mayor of the City of Indianola, do hereby proclaim October 2025 as Cybersecurity Awareness Month and Stay Safe Indianola Month in the City of Indianola, and urge all residents, businesses, and organizations to recognize the importance of cybersecurity, learn and implement best practices, and join in our efforts to create a safer and more resilient digital community. In witness thereof, I set my hand, and cause the seal of Indianola to be affixed the 6th day of October 2025. So, Jason, go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Jason Holder, Chief Information Officer for the City of Indianola. I want to first begin by thanking Mayor Richardson and the entire council for your leadership in formally proclaiming October as Cybersecurity Awareness Month in the City of Indianola. Your support underscores the importance of this issue for our entire community. A key part of my role is ensuring our cyber technology and data are both resilient and secure, a commitment that I take very seriously as both a city leader and as a certified information system security professional, or CISSP. Tonight I'm going to begin by outlining our proactive strategy for protecting our digital infrastructure. Cybersecurity is no longer just a back office IT issue. It's a matter of public safety, public trust, and a fiscal responsibility issue as well. We work hard to maintain our physical infrastructure here in the City of Indianola, while our digital infrastructure requires the same, if not more, focus. Think of our digital infrastructure as like the equivalent to our roads or water mains. It's a network that carries all of our data and allows our city services to function. It's the invisible framework that ensures our residents get the support that they need, that our public works functions correctly, and that our first responders get all the information they need in the case of an emergency. When our digital infrastructure works, no one really notices it, but if it fails, everything comes to a complete stop. Imagine a ransomware attack, if you would, that locks out our city systems for over a week or disables some of the critical management functions and turns off the WRF, for example. That'd be a big mess. We are the custodians of a vast amount of citizen and employee data. A breach could expose information eroding our public trust and leading to identity theft for our employees and even our citizens. The average cost of a breach for a public entity like ours can range in the millions of dollars. And the damage to our city reputation, however, could be basically immeasurable. There is a lot more to cybersecurity than just filtering out emails or watching web traffic. Each bubble you see here on this chart represents a process or a segment of IT control and responsibility. And behind every bubble, there's even more data or more things that we have to control. The IT team not only needs to understand how each of these systems work, but we also have to support them and make sure that they are secure, while also providing hundreds of users who depend on these systems 24-hour day, 7 days a week service. Cybersecurity isn't just a October focus for us. It's a constant 365-day-a-year commitment. This campaign that we're talking about tonight builds upon an already strong foundation. We leverage advanced security tools like Microsoft Defender, FortiGate, firewalls, and other layers of security to provide 24/7 threat detection, stopping many of the threats before they even reach our employees. We conduct proactive security training for staff throughout the year. We don't wait for the crisis to hit us before we teach our teams how to respond. And every quarter we run sophisticated attack simulations to test both our technology and our team, allowing us to fix weaknesses before an attacker finds our weaknesses. Some of you were involved in our last, and I really appreciate a lot of the responses that I received from a lot of the council members during our last training. These attacks aren't just abstract threats. They are happening to cities just like ours every single day. The data that you see on this slide now proves that. Last year alone, 70% of local governments across the country were targeted by ransomware. So for us, it's really not a matter of if, it's probably a matter of when we're going to be targeted. And the cost is also staggering. The average data breach costs a public entity over $2 million in recovery, fines, and reputational damage. Could you imagine, it also is an average of 24 days. Could you imagine our services being down for 24 days? That's nearly a month without any critical systems. The reality is many cities have faced this, and with our proactive year-round defenses, it's an IT initiative is more important. It's also a core city function. So looking a little more at Indianola, you can see that here in this slide that just in the last 90 days, our systems have automatically blocked over 4,700 malicious emails from ever reaching city inboxes. Our Microsoft 365 security has also identified and quarantined over 1,500 targeted phishing attempts designed to steal employee credentials. And our firewalls have prevented over 380 malicious login attempts from bad actors trying to access our network. These numbers represent disasters that were prevented. They are silent successes that happen every hour because of the investment that we and you as a council have made in the technology and in personnel. So let's talk a little bit more about this campaign that we're kicking off and that the proclamation has talked about. It's Stay Safe Indianola campaign. Our goal is to move from a passive awareness to active defense and providing simple, effective steps for everyone. For our staff, we like to call this building the human firewall. Our employees are our greatest assets and our first line of defense. We're empowering them with the knowledge to recognize and stop threats. For the residents out there and the tens of people listening, we want to empower the community. I got at least one snicker out of that. We'd also like to, we also have the responsibility to provide them with the knowledge to protect themselves and their families. And how we're doing that is through this 4-week campaign. We've already started this week with the basics, and the basics being a strong password and multi-factor authentication. This is the digital lock and key to all your accounts. Next week, we'll do some training on how to spot phishing. Phishing is the number one way that attackers get your information. We'll talk about how to understand the psychology of phishing and the urgency of the fear that they use as part of their main tactic. And in the 3rd week, we'll address modern challenges like ransomware. This is the digital kidnapping of your data and the rise of AI-powered deepfakes. And finally, we'll reinforce cybersecurity as a shared responsibility. It's our goal for everyone to feel confident to say something doesn't look right. Here inside City Hall, what we're doing is we are sending out through our SharePoint system weekly tips and fun quizzes, and we're making it engaging and easy for our staff to digest. And for the public, we'll be sharing practical advice on our city's website and social media. We're focusing on tips that residents can use immediately to protect their families from common scams. This campaign is critical, it's high impact, It's a low-cost investment to the city. Making it truly successful, we need a partnership from everyone to help us set the pace. So PACE, is P-A-C-E. So P stands for proclaim, which you've already done. Tonight, you proclaimed October Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and I cannot be more honored that you guys did that tonight. Would also like you to amplify. Please amplify our reach by sharing the city's official posts on your private social media channels. It helps us reach more residents. I also would hope that you can champion the message by verbally supporting the initiatives. Also, I'd like to see you exemplify these core values by exemplifying the best practices by working with us to ensure that your own city accounts are secure. Your leadership demonstrates the importance of the effort for everyone. The City of Indianola is and will continue to be a leader in the digital safety, transparency, and proactive governance. Protecting our digital city is a continuous effort, and this campaign is a major step forward in strengthening our collective defense. I want to say thank you for your partnership in this vital work, and I appreciate you all and would be happy to answer any questions that you might have. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we get to do the pictures.
Okay, picture.
Get us to tens of thousands of viewers, Jason.
Tens of. Yeah, we'll see.
With the proper hashtags, we're gonna hit it all. Actually, come.
Actually, it would be up to. I mean, it's thanks for Aaron and his there.
The screen on your glasses.
So what are we doing?
Yeah, just come up in front of the
Oh,
TV,
wow.
just because the glare in your glasses.
First one of those. Oh, there we go.
All right, look right here. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
And we did enough 3, 2, 1s. Thank you, Mayor. I'll switch you back.
You realize, though, I haven't read that much script since my radio days, way back when I was in college, so we have one more. All right, we have one more proclamation. This is Fire Prevention Week. Again, we've talked about the open house, public safety on Thursday night, and hope as many people can get there as possible. So, whereas the City of Indianola is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Indianola, and whereas fire remains a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and the presence of lithium-ion batteries in many household devices introduces unique fire risks, and whereas most electronics used in homes daily, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, power tools, e-bikes, e-scooters, and toys, are powered by lithium-ion batteries, which if misused, damaged, or improperly charged can overheat, start a fire, and explode. And whereas the National Fire Protection Association reports an increase in battery-related fires, underscoring the need for public education on the safe use of lithium-ion batteries. And whereas residents should follow 3 key calls to action, but buy only listed products, charge batteries safely, and recycle them responsibly to prevent battery-related fires. Whereas lithium-ion batteries store a large amount of energy in a small space, and improper use, such as overcharging, using off-brand chargers without safety certification, or exposing batteries to damage can result in fire or explosion. And whereas the proper disposal and recycling of lithium-ion batteries help prevent environmental hazards and reduce fire risks in the home and community. And whereas the City of Indianola first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of fires through prevention, safety education, and community outreach. And whereas the 2025 Fire Week prevention theme, Charge into Fire Safety, Lithium-Ion Batteries in Your Home, serves to remind us of the importance of using, charging, and recycling lithium-ion batteries safely to reduce the risk of fires in homes and communities. I, therefore, I, Steve Richardson, Mayor of the City of Indianola, do hereby proclaim October 5th through the 11th, 2025 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the City of Indianola. If you have not ever done so, and Chief, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you can go online to YouTube and see the UL video of the testing of a bad lithium-ion battery, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know what, I don't know what you have to Google on that. Just maybe Google UL testing of lithium-ion batteries might get it to you too. So, pretty scary.
I can get it to Jason, he can put it on the website as
Oh, did you? Okay.
well. I can.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay, why don't you come on up, let's get a photo. I guess we need to be in front of this again, so.
Alrighty, here we go. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Yep. I saw that video 2 years ago down at the National League of Cities annual conference. One of the fire safety folks had that, and it was pretty darn impressive, so. All right, one last thing on mayor's report here. In front of the council members, our Home for the Holidays talks about the ideas or things that are going on. I'm challenging us to at least come up with 5 volunteers for that night. If you are interested, please let me know. I will let Erica know what you would be willing to do or when you are available. There's a lot of things to go on and they need volunteers greatly. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right, so see if we can get 5 volunteers, city or staff or council, and at least, and if we can do more, that'd be great, so. All right, public consideration, old business, item A1, Leonard Subdivision Plat 2, Lot 6. Resolution approving an amendment to the Elevate Indianola Comprehensive Plan for property legally described as Leonard Subdivision Plat 2, Lot 6. Do I have a motion for that?
Second?
I have a motion and a second for approving the amendment to Elevate Indianola. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Dalby? Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Rabe?
Motion carries 5-0. We're going to open a public hearing regarding an amendment to the zoning map to change the zoning from R2 and C2 to R2 in the Leonard subdivision, Plat 6, Lot 6. I need a motion.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, did you want any staff presentation?
Might be a good idea to do that first. You wanna do that first? I was gonna get the
You're on a roll.
motion
I
and
was
then,
gonna stop you.
I was gonna get the motion and then we'd have the public.
Yeah,
but
no,
that's
public
fine.
hearing's a great opportunity to have that conversation. I don't know if the applicant's online at all, or
Right there, behind you.
you wanna give a presentation quick about the summary of the project?
Not really.
I'll do it for you then.
Townhouse is going there. so-
Alrighty, I'll do it for you. All right, so the property in question that we're looking at tonight is located at the northeast corner of South Spruce Street and West Second Avenue. It's currently zoned both C2 and R2, as you can see on the right map right there. The applicant is requesting to rezone the property to only R2, which will facilitate a townhouse development similar to the west and to the north.
Is it on?
This project was properly noticed. You can see our notification boundary here. There was one phone call received from a neighbor who was in favor of the project. Staff also took the project to the Plan and Zoning Commission on September 16th, where they voted in favor of both the rezoning and the future land use amendment. Staff finds the application is consistent with the zoning code and the comp plan and is recommending approval as submitted and presented today. And here you can kind of see an outline or a layout of the future townhomes. There's going to be 6 lots, basically duplexes, just 3 of those.
I think council already took action on the future land use map amendment, but do you want to touch on that a little bit, just the change that was made there?
Yeah, so the future land use amendment is basically aligning the proposed development with the comprehensive plan. You can see right here where the comprehensive plan has it outlined as red, and basically we're just consistently zoning it, so the zoning is consistent with the future land use map.
Are these going to be owned units?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions for Bryce? Hearing none, I will take a motion then to open a public hearing on this issue.
Second.
Motion a second, any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Dalby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Rabe?
Motion carries 5-0. We are now in a public hearing. If there's anybody who'd like to speak on this issue, please come forward now. Seeing none, I would take a motion then to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion a second. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Rabe?
Aye.
Dalby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Public hearing is closed with a motion of 5-0. First consideration then of an ordinance amending the municipal code of Iowa for change of zoning district boundaries from R2 Single Family Residential Attached Zoning District and C2 Highway Commercial Zoning District to R2 Single Family Residential Attached Zoning District Leonard Subdivision Plat 2 Lot 6. Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Stones,
Aye.
Lane.
Aye.
Rabe.
Aye.
Dalby.
Aye.
Armstrong.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. We got the first consideration. Okay, we are then chapter 165 zoning regulations. What do we have here, Bryce?
Yes, sir. Today, for the council's consideration, is essentially a cleanup. It's come to staff's attention that there was a little bit of a discrepancy between the number of days required for a public hearing or a publication in a newspaper before council can review the item. Essentially, right now you can see where the changes are. Currently on the left, the existing language basically says not less than 7, nor more than 20 days before a time and place of a council public hearing is considered should a zoning ordinance or map amendment be proposed. We're basically aligning that with state code to change that 7 to 4.
I will need a motion then to move into a public hearing regarding the amending chapter 165 regulations, Code of Iowa, Code of Ordinances, Indianola, Iowa. Need a motion and a second.
So moved. Very good.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Armstrong.
Aye.
Stones,
Aye.
Lane.
Aye.
Rabe.
Aye.
Dalby.
Aye.
We are in public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to speak on this particular issue? Seeing none, then I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing. A second, please.
Moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Rabe.
Aye.
Dalby.
Aye.
Armstrong.
Aye.
Stones.
Aye.
Lane.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. First consideration of an ordinance amending the Code of Iowa, Code of Ordinances of the City of Indianola, Iowa, by amending provisions pertaining to the public hearing requirements in zoning. Motion and a second.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Armstrong.
Aye.
Stones.
Aye.
Lane.
Aye.
Rabe.
Aye.
Dalby.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. All right, we're on to the fiscal year 26 budget. Do you want to discuss this first before we go further? Thank you, Cody.
Thank you.
We can if you want me to.
No, well, let's get the public hearing started here. Okay, let's have a motion in a second regarding an amendment to the fiscal year 26 budget for public hearing.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Rabe.
Aye.
Dalby.
Aye.
Armstrong.
Aye.
Stones.
Aye.
Lane.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are now in a public hearing. Jackie, you're up, I believe.
A budget amendment is needed anytime we'll spend more than what we certified with the state when we submitted our budget back in April. We're allowed under state code to amend the budget to permit the appropriation and expenditure of unexpended cash balances on hand at the end of FY25 that were not anticipated to be spent in FY26. We're amending our budget to include the expense of about $2.8 million from FY25 to FY26 for the Iowa Avenue Sewer Repair Project, final payment of the wastewater treatment facility, Hillcrest and South K Street paving projects, the spring cleanup fees, the CDBG facade grant, and the last payment of the library strategic plan. We can also amend for unencumbered cash balances from the previous fiscal year to spend in this fiscal year. These expenses include an ambulance, repairs in the fire department and library, and contracts that council has recently approved. We're not taking on any new debt. It is simply moving the planned expenses from one year to another with our existing cash. Many of the items are paid for out of bond proceeds that we have received in the previous years. State law also allows us to amend the budget to allow the appropriation and expenditure of monies from sources other than property taxes. The police and fire departments were successful in recent grant applications, so those revenues and expenses are included in this amendment. Finally, transfers between funds are allowed under the state law budget amendments, and our amendments does include transfers.
Any questions for Jackie or staff? From council or the public? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion and a second to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Jackie, Becky, please call the roll.
Councilmember Dalby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Ray?
Motion carries 5-0. I need a resolution then approving, and a motion approving the First Amendment to the fiscal year 26 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Ray?
Aye.
Dalby?
Aye.
Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
I need then a motion and a second for the resolution authorizing the transfers in the general fund.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Dalby?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. All right, we are on to the next item, which is first consideration of an ordinance amending chapter 66, load and weight restrictions for establishing truck routes. Was this one of the items that Representative or Councilmember Beach wanted to be on? I don't believe it was it? No, okay. All right, let's take a motion in a second, and then we'll get into discussion here, so.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for the first consideration. Okay. So we've got a motion and a second here for first consideration of an ordinance. Any discussion? I know, Toby, you were up, and I think, hold on a second, and Van. So let's go with Toby first. Toby, why don't you talk about your issue here if you'd like to? Or you want to go first?
If I could.
Go right ahead, have at it. Toby, I'm sorry, apologize.
Little pinch hitting for AP
That's okay.
tonight. And at council direction at the last meeting, the recommended, some recommended streets were removed from the truck route and was asked to change that. Staff reviewed the situation and would respectfully request your consideration of including one portion of Iowa Avenue from Jefferson Way to 6th Street to the industrial area at that point in time, so that truck traffic can make safer turns off of the highway at a five-lane section where they'll have a left turn signal where they don't have that at Girard Avenue. So we would ask you to consider that additional segment of Iowa Avenue be included in the truck route.
Okay. So that was what is now being proposed anyway in this.
That's what's in the, in the packet, in the proposal that you just considered.
Okay. Toby, you and I had a conversation today, but why don't you go ahead and come on up and talk about your issue here a little bit, if you would. Come on up to the podium.
I think Dave confused me more. I'm Toby Vanderpool. Hello, everyone. I own Vanderpool Construction out on 1100 North 14th Street. And the way I was reading the ordinance was you were gonna take out 15th Street from 92 up to Iowa.
Correct.
And then you were gonna move part of Iowa Street. So those are two routes that we use. I mean, we'd use 15th Street more than even Iowa. We dispatch a lot of trucks daily from our shop for service for this community. So the way it's proposed, we would have to go north back up to Hillcrest, 65, 69 south to 92 and back east. And probably our number one concern here, and we haven't really talked about it, would be safety. Safety, nobody's been hurt, and I've been with the company over 30 years and we've not had an accident on 15th Street or Iowa. Not one little fender bender, not one little pedestrian accident. I also do like the 9th Street and Iowa's stop sign. It's helped, especially during school traffic. I'm just concerned with what everyone's thinking about here. Have you thought it thoroughly what we're actually looking for and what we're needing? If it was out of town traffic and trying not to use that area for a bypass, then if it's Google Maps and some trucker's coming through town and it doesn't show a bypass around Indianola, that'd be great. But for us local traffic that are very large taxpayers in Indianola, we've been there a long time. Actually, we're celebrating 70 years this year for you people that don't know our company very well. Very proud of that. 70 years in business here in Indianola. And to have something like this happen to us, It's almost devastating. Makes no sense at all. So. Anything else to add, Jimmy? Or do you want to? I mean, if we take that other alternative route, because we have quarries east of Indianola and Knoxville. One quarry's east of Knoxville, a few miles, the other one is south of Knoxville. It would be one-way trip, 4 miles, the other trip is 1 mile. We have 8, 9 rounds a day with one truck, and we're dispatching approximately 10 trucks every hour. A lot of traffic. Our speed limit has been reduced from when I first started working at Vanderpool's on 15th Street from 40, it is now 25. I have no problem with that. Going down by the nature trails. I don't know what the problem is here. I don't know if there is even a problem. Maybe it was just a suggestion and somebody says aye and we like it. Need to think about what we're doing here. Industrial park. Industrial park, we have to have it, right? I hope we have to have it. That's us, we want to keep it there. I'd like to keep it going for another 100 years if we can. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Toby.
Appreciate you considering it.
Van, come on up.
Appreciate it. Van Lucas, 1110 North 14th, Toby's neighbor, and his tenant, so a little both there. So as he said, the industrial district is vital to Indianola. It's a large tax base for what we have there, and we contribute to the streets and everything that goes on in Indianola. And I was just happened to be looking at your slide there, and the front slide that you have says thriving business economy. That's one of your lines, right? Well, cutting off the southern access to the industrial district for our trucks is a handcuff to a thriving business economy. What Toby didn't say about that route, that 4 mile extra, because we deliver southeast a lot. Our trucks get 5 miles to the gallon. So we're burning an extra gallon to go around right there. So which costs money, costs wear and tear, not to mention all the congestion that's going to take place with slow moving trucks that are now routed around that outside hitting all the stop signs. So, what may need to be a bigger issue to get addressed is an alternative route. If we're concerned about the neighborhood, then that's a bigger picture item. But to just chop our knees off going south is not a valid solution, in my opinion. Second, truck traffic typically happens during normal business hours. Guess what? Kids are in school, people are at work, we're working. We're not there when kids are playing ball on the weekends and the evenings for the most part. If we are, it's very minimal stuff. And I saw that it was due a lot to complaints from the neighborhoods, is that correct?
That's what I understand.
Okay. So I compare this to moving next to an airport and then complaining about the jet noise. Industrial district has been there for a long time. You know it's there when you buy the property, you know the trucks are coming by, and then to decide that now all of a sudden you don't like it and put the burden on the industrial district is not fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Van.
And
Appreciate
how
it.
many trucks do you have that you send through
I have 5 trucks
a day?
and 5 trucks usually doing 2 deliveries each a day.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other comments from council at all? Thoughts?
Are tractors considered trucks as well? I mean, is that part of this?
It's really a weight issue. So a tractor that's with whatever load it's carrying that is greater than 13,000 pounds, 12,000 pounds is prohibited under this ordinance, whether it's whatever the rig is, so to speak. It's a weight limit issue.
Dave, while I got you up there though, was 15th designed, it's designed as an arterial, is that correct?
That's correct.
So is Iowa?
Correct. And we do have, all those streets have been cored over the years.
Yeah.
And so there are, that's small.
Sorry, you want me to read it for you?
For you. Yeah, there's, so I get it's moving now. So Iowa Avenue is 8 inches thick. The new piece of Iowa Avenue is 8 inches thick on granular subbase, so it's a little stouter than that. The East Iowa is 8.5 inches. 14th Street is 8.5 inches. 15th Street is 7 1/4. And these are just cores, so there's gonna be some variability. First Avenue on 15th is 7. Girard is 8.5. East Clinton is 6 3/4, and 6th Street is 6.5. So they're all, most of those roadways are, as you suggested, designed as an arterial with a decent projected traffic and the strength goes with it.
I have a question on East Clinton. I received a call from someone who told me that short section of Clinton was poured thicker to accommodate the concrete trucks. Does that 6 inches take that into consideration?
I know when we patched, when we did the culvert repair back on the west end, we patched thicker for that reason, but I'm not sure what the limits of that are.
Yeah, every time we do any kind of repairs inside department, we go 8 inches thick, so on all roads.
You go how much?
8 inches.
8, okay.
Jackie, would you go back, whoever's doing the thing, go back to the route again, please? Thank you. I have received a couple of calls from truckers on 65, 69 concerned, and this was all about the discussion, we went into turning lanes, and not having a turning lane then, and we bumped that out of the budget this time because we didn't have the money to do that. But the turning lane that stops at basically Girard and does not continue to Highway 65, 69. And the concern from the truckers that I've talked with is that it backs up traffic and it's hard to navigate that area. It kind of goes to Van's point, I believe, about safety there on that area as well. I'm not saying one way or the other, I'm just saying you put more truck traffic on the road, and if it's in times of, and I don't know about you folks, but if you've been on that street at noon, there's a lot of traffic there too. And so, just another consideration here is that we don't have that turning lane then, that's at 6 or 8 blocks there. And that makes a huge difference in traffic and the ability of traffic to move as well, so. Something to think about as we talk here. So the question is, folks, what's your pleasure?
So as I've thought about it more, I feel like the issue came up with Hillcrest closure. Hillcrest is opened, and I just kind of question the need for it in general and question the enforceability and how much we would even enforce it if there was anything even done regardless of the route. So that's just my quick 2 cents.
Concerns about putting tractors out onto North Jefferson Way, and if they're coming from Hillcrest, coming from the southeast as well. I think it's safer to keep them on 15, keep them on Iowa than it is to put them out on Jefferson Way. That's the reason I voted no last time, and I still have those concerns. Those roads are still off on the truck route map.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you'd like to make that short piece of Iowa and 15th then part of the truck route, is that what I'm hearing you say?
That's what I would like. From 14th over to 6th Street and then 15th Street.
Well, Jefferson's a real concern, and I agree with what Ron's saying. I think even more of a concern that I had last time, but I knew we were gonna get another swing at this, is if you put them on 92, you're gonna take them by a lot more youth during the school year than you ever would going up and down 15th. As far as traffic patterns, my feeling.
Good point.
Particularly with all the construction you've got right now, and I know that's gonna come to an end in another year or so, but the number of students isn't gonna change. It's gonna grow if anything.
And right now, they're having to cross the street
Right.
because of the parking situation.
Pleasure, folks.
I definitely don't want to impact a business or businesses that have been in the industrial park for 70 years. That's not our intent. Causing them undue stress to make a 4-mile loop around. So I'm in favor of putting 14th, 15th, and Iowa back in. And also that then addresses Ron's concern, and I'm in the same camp with keeping the farmers off of Jefferson as much as we can. And there's also a kind of a traffic pattern with the elevator. They go in one way and they come out another.
So to Steve's point, I think the first real question is, or maybe it's the second question, doesn't make any difference how you look at it, but I guess that's what I'm hearing from council, is do we need a truck route ordinance in the city of Indianola? Number two is, if we do need a truck route ordinance, then what do we include? So Melissa's given her opinion, so I guess it's up to you folks. Steve, I think if I read you right, you just do not have one, is that right?
Yeah.
Maybe, Rob on the spot here, but how would a truck route be enforced?
Good evening, Council, Captain Hawkins, Indianola Police. To Ron's question, the truck route, currently, I don't believe we'd be able to enforce it. There's no scheduled violations with that. Now, if there was, we probably could propose and draft an ordinance that could be incorporated in the city traffic code that would allow us to do that. But I mean, I haven't done any research into that, so I'm not prepared to answer that tonight. But I mean, I think that is a possibility that we'd have to consult with legal on. But there's no scheduled violation with state code that I'm aware of that we could enforce.
That's so is that if we don't do this ordinance then, is that what you're saying? Or is it if we do the ordinance? I guess that's my question.
Yeah, I mean, right now, there's no mechanism in place for us to stop a vehicle that would not be in compliance with the city established truck route if there was one.
Okay. So Jackie, in your next slide then, which I saw there, if I'm not mistaken, was that this would be what we would be considering then if as part of this ordinance, then is that correct? Or whomever I need to talk with on this end, so.
I think that would be a separate action item. We'd have to put the schedule together that Rob said to make it an enforceable fining situation.
Okay. So this, what we're working on tonight is just basically whether or not we're gonna have a truck route, what that truck route is, and then the next step down the road, if we do that, then would be to put in another meeting somewhere, we'll be able to put that together. Thank you. Did I clarify it?
Right. I thought that was partly why we were doing this, because of resident complaints, and the only way to enforce or get the trucks out of the neighborhoods was to put this in place.
That's correct. Really stemming from the Public Works side of things. as there's different projects and things happening in town, we get trucks, that will utilize different routes, sometimes through residential neighborhoods. So the concerns will come in that we're having heavy trucks more in residential areas. The purpose of the truck routes is to guide those heavier trucks to the appropriate roads designed for them, as well as to keep them on specific paths and out of the more residential areas.
And part of why I questioned enforceability was they're allowed to veer off the truck route if they're doing a delivery. And are we just wasting your time? I mean, at that point, right, of do we want to pull a truck over and they're on a delivery? Officer wasted his time. That's where I questioned the enforceability, because they can veer off of the route to do deliveries and they have to get back on it. Is IPD really gonna know if somebody's on a delivery? They're not, so.
But it's the ones
And I
that,
can see $2,000 in signage fees I can save.
it's the trucks that use would be using the streets that they should not be over and over again, which we do have that today. I mean, if this were to go in force, we have trucks that are going through neighborhoods they shouldn't be.
Maybe, sometimes.
Mayor and Council, I would also add that, and maybe Dave can speak to this, many communities have truck routes. You know, we would be far from the first city in Iowa to have the adoption of truck routes, and we could certainly engage with our peers on how they've enforced it as well. So we would not certainly be a leader in adopting a truck route ordinance as a community. If I understand correctly, we're probably one of the later ones to adopt a truck route ordinance. So it's a very common tool that municipalities have.
That was a question I had, was, as I've traveled throughout the state, it seems like a lot of communities have them when you come in, as you're coming into town. So I was just curious to what your background would tell us.
They're very common.
Okay.
Okay. So this is really gonna come down then, a couple things. If we want to amend the motion to include that one small portion of 14th and 15th Street, we will need to
I would make the same recommendation that I made last meeting, that if we are going to amend it, we send it back to city staff to amend the language and then come back and do the first reading yet again. If I understand correctly, and that's sometimes questionable, I think it sounds almost like we're going back to the first version, the original version.
Well, it's some, but not entirely, because I think Iowa Street all the way to the highway was part of that already.
It was.
So really what we're doing is just making a small change from.
Ron wants all of Iowa in.
Huh?
Ron wants all of Iowa in.
Oh, yeah, okay. I guess you gotta figure that out then.
I think this all stemmed originally from the North 9th Street area, right? Isn't that where there was some delivery trucks that were going through?
It was more than delivery. Because of the detour,
Yeah.
everyone was cutting from the highway through 9th Street.
They still are.
Yeah, they still are.
Come on up, Toby.
On North 9th, I mean, there's,
Toby, come up to, please, come up to the
there's,
podium.
there's some more commercial businesses that have been built out there in the North 9th area. What is it, Tim Phillips, and then there's, what's the other big building out there? But there's been a lot going on in this small community. We was on a dirt project export this year with Simpson, and we had some go out, and the very first meeting you guys had out there, I was out there and representing, and we got along really good. I think everyone understood things. We try to do the most direct route and not be going through people's neighborhoods and making a bunch of noise, and we don't wanna mess up streets, cause usually when we're driving through town, our trucks are loaded one way and empty the other. When they're loaded, they're heavy. So another thing I'd like to talk about, when Schneider over here was talking about the depth of the concrete, there's a lot more to it than just the concrete depth. You know, we have expansive soils, we have subgrade prep, we have steep hills, we've got wet areas, we've got a lot of damaged streets in town, would we not all agree? So as a contractor, I don't want to tear up our own home streets, I want to protect them. So I wouldn't mind seeing part of this project on making truck routes is you want to protect the off streets that have less protection of the street or less depth. We want to stay in keeping our heavy traffic on routes where there's more of that preventable stuff to keep, like a 40-year street or a 50-year street instead of a 20-year street, if that makes sense to everyone. It's a lot more money for a developer to build that, but within a few years, it becomes all of our streets and we're having to fix them. And then now it's a taxpayer's thing, so. There's a lot more to this than just a homeowner being upset because a truck driving by or, and if I bought that house, I mean, if I was raising young ones, I guess I'd be concerned too, but all of my drivers are being careful. And, I'll preach it to them when I get to work tomorrow morning about being careful. That industrial park, it's been there a long time, and I was a little upset with Indianola developing all those houses right along the main, I mean, that's 15th and Iowa and all that is pretty much a bypass for people. People are missing all the stoplights, and that's what they're doing, and until we could get an alternative route, we're going the easiest way we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, first question is, and that's not technically a vote, but I guess the first thing is from my perspective, in order to send it back to staff, we need to know that if we got enough support to pass a truck route, depending on what we end up with. That's the first question. And I know this is an open discussion, it's a public hearing, and so first consideration rather. I know Steve's got his perspective. Do we want a truck route? I guess that's the question. That's my question to you folks.
So I'm fine with it having a truck route, but I just think we need to amend it so that all of Iowa and 15th is included in that truck route. And I understand why we're doing it, and I agree that, you know, if we can keep some of the heavier trucks, some of those delivery trucks, you know, that are coming to North 9th to use East Hillcrest, you know, instead of cutting through East Lincoln or North 9th. I understand that, and I agree with that. I just think we need to expand a little bit of our map as to what's considered a truck route.
Others of you?
I agree with that.
Yeah, I would echo the same thing. What we've done is gone through and hit, we messed up with this version of it by cutting out the industrial park there, but adding these back in, we will, I think, be in a good place.
So we're going back to the original version, right?
Honestly, I don't know what the original version was, Josh.
The original version had all of Iowa and 15th on it.
Okay, so staff needs to bring it back. We need to withdraw the motion. Am I correct, Allison? Is that right? Who had the second?
Lane and Dalby.
Okay.
Mayor and Council, if I may, I'll just make one quick comment. What staff would bring back in another first reading would be the inclusion of Iowa from Jefferson to 15th Street, and then Jefferson from 15th Street from Iowa Avenue to 92 or 2nd Avenue.
Correct.
And an enforcement provision.
Okay, so who did what now?
I did, I'll withdraw the motion.
Withdraw the motion, withdraw the second?
Yeah, I'll withdraw the second.
Okay, staff's got the direction then? Okay, we'll bring it back to next meeting then. Okay. Toby, sorry about that. We'll get some kind of direction here in the next meeting then. So
Thank you.
You got time to go catch the Chiefs, so there you go.
Hope so. Go Chiefs.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Van. Appreciate your comments too.
Thank you very
bet,
much.
you
Appreciate
bet.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're on to new business then. Resolution approving an amendment to residential recycling collection contract between Waste Management of Iowa, Inc. and the city of Indianola, Iowa. I need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Have a motion in a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones? Aye. Lane?
Aye.
Wade?
Aye.
Dalby?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Resolution approving a plat of survey request for parcel 25-072. I need a motion and a second, and then I think Bryce is gonna talk about this.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Bryce, what's going on here?
Yes, sir. Simple plat of survey tonight. You can see the location up here, kind of in the southeast corner of Highway R63 and Inwood Street. Essentially, it's a family wanting to split off a 1.7 acre lot to build another family home. This is within one of our priority growth areas, so I thought as zoning administrator or director of community and economic development, I wanted to bring it to council for your final approval and say. Staff is in favor of the application as submitted and is recommending approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Bryce? Hearing none.
Thanks, Bryce.
Any questions or any comments from council? Hearing none, clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones?
Aye.
Lane?
Aye.
Rabe?
Aye.
Dalby?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Jake, you want to discuss item 3 here, what this is, and then we'll go forward with this?
Yes. Mayor and members of the council, city council policy allows for the creation of special committees. There are times when economic development projects are at a critical juncture and it is helpful to gain insight from a special committee. Staff proposes the creation of a special committee for economic development to meet under the following considerations. Any discussion or feedback expressed or received at the special committee meeting should not be construed or understood to be a decision by or for the entire city council. The special committee meeting notices will be posted and open meetings will be conducted in conformance with the open meetings law and Iowa State Code. Members of the public are welcome to attend the special committee meetings. And minutes of the subcommittee meeting or special committee meetings will be prepared with copies provided to the mayor, city council, city manager, city clerk, and all affected departments. Staff recommends the creation of a special committee for economic development and consists of Mayor Richardson, council members Armstrong and Rabe, Community and Economic Development Director Bryce Johnson, Finance Director / City Clerk Jackie Rafferty, and City Manager.
And you need a motion and a second for this? I'm assuming, yes? Motion and a second?
So moved.
Any discussion?
I do have a question. Is it your intention to use the ward representative when the developments change, or are you going to keep the committee consistent?
That'd be something we could bring back and consider, depending on the project.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. Clerk call the roll, please.
Councilmember Armstrong?
Aye.
Stones? Aye. Lane?
Aye.
Rabe?
Aye.
Dalby?
Motion carries 5-0. On to other business, discussion and direction regarding study session dates and times. We have one scheduled, I think, already for November,
For October 13th.
October 13th. Yeah, okay.
Is this one Christine?
Christine on, is she on? No?
Mayor and Council, Councilmember Beach just texted me. She said she was driving. She's currently pulling over to find a spot to call in.
Okay, well, we can move on to the next one then. How about that one?
Mayor and council members, I believe she was interested in all the discussion items.
Oh. Okay. How about a city manager's report? You wanna do that?
Can we go out of order?
Yep.
All right. Short report tonight, hopefully. Just a reminder for members. Is that our Jason?
That is her.
Never mind.
Okay then.
Very short.
All right, very short. All right, Christine, are you there? Okay. All right, so we are in discussion direction regarding study session dates and times. October 13th is already set, so we are gonna meet then. So where do you wanna go here? Okay. Any other discussion from council on where we wanna go with this?
Maybe we should go around and see if anyone has any issues with that third Monday or.
Okay. You wanna start us?
Yeah, I personally, I can attend a third Monday. I don't know, is all the staff needing to be here? I mean, they're the ones who, are gonna be here from 8 till 7, 8 till 8, something like that. So I think maybe staff consideration might need to weigh in on this as well, but, I'm okay with that study session. I mean, just because it's scheduled doesn't mean we're always gonna have one, I'm guessing. Or maybe I could be wrong on that as well, but.
If there's no topic to discuss, we obviously wouldn't have.
Mayor, I can weigh in from the staff perspective, as we've discussed it internally. City manager would always be present. We would have someone in the clerk role to take minutes, of course, and then staff that would have items to provide, or insight to provide on the item would attend, but otherwise not all staff necessarily would attend. It would just be those that are essential to the topic at hand.
That would have been my biggest concern. When you're retired, every day's Saturday, so you just figure it out. I think you do what works best for those of you that are working, whether it's staff or council people. And I think Christina makes a valid point, though. After the election, we have one member sitting here. We're not going to ask you to weigh in yet, Tiffany, but I think that, I'd be okay either way. But for now, we decide whether we want to have that one in November or not, because then we'll have new people coming in and we can bring the topic up back then, I think, going forward. That's what I'd suggest. I think that's a good idea.
You're saying hold the one in October and then pause until after the election and then?
Well, the next one would be after the election anyway. And then we would have new people to swear in and.
Well, it won't take office
yeah,
until January.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Pause November.
Yeah, it'd be January.
I think.
So you'd still have the October, November, and December one.
Right, and October's already on the calendar.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity to review policy at any time, right?
Right.
Put it in place and it becomes an issue January of next year or September of next year, any policy, we can always review and adjust. As commitments and stuff change.
I just want our study sessions to be things that are valuable and not something that can be done as an agenda item.
Yeah, I get it.
I can do a third Monday. I prefer to do just the two, sure, right? If we can make that happen, but I don't want to come a third Monday, waste everybody's time, staff's time for something that could have just been on the agenda and that's 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, I agree with that as well, Steve.
Personally, it is a challenge for me sometimes, just schedule-wise, with so many other obligations. It's one more meeting to squeeze in. But I will make it work if it works for everyone else. It's not a problem. So, Jake, back to staff. Is there a preference from staff, whether they're here longer in a day or one more night?
We talked about this at a department head meeting. I don't think there were strong sentiments from staff overall. They were supportive of going to the third Monday. It seemed that there may have been a little bit of a preference towards maybe 3 shorter meetings than 2 longer meetings. But from my recollection of the department meeting, I don't think there was overly strong feelings. I know, of course, Jack, you were there too. Do you recall anything different?
It affects both of you every time, right?
Sounds to me like we've got consensus then to continue through the end of the year. Is that, at least with 3, is that what I'm hearing?
I'm fine with trying it for a while and reassessing to the point of 3 shorter versus 2 longer.
Okay.
If it's something we're truly having a study session, sometimes it's a long item at the end of a long meeting.
Great.
I don't feel like we're always in a good spot to give it the proper
consideration.
Yeah, so I would like to try it for a while and fine with that, I guess. And see what we do.
We okay then? We know where we're going? Yeah, everybody, okay?
So if it's a shorter item, we'll just add it to an agenda instead of.
If we can, yeah, it depends on what it is, yeah. But generally, sometimes those are presentations that need to happen, or we're meeting with different folks too, but we'll see, yeah, if we can get it on another agenda, we'll do that. Okay.
Jason did a nice job of making a brief but informative presentation tonight that fit well on the agenda.
Right. Okay, moving on then, discussion and direction regarding council policy on length of council meetings. Okay, you wanna go ahead and review what we've got here right now?
I printed them off and put them in front of you too.
Yeah, you
so,
did, right.
Right now, our current policy says that the length of any meeting shall be limited to 1.5 hours. This limitation may be extended for any particular meeting by a supermajority, 2/3 vote to suspend the rules and extend the meeting by the time required. Any business remaining to be acted upon by the city council after the time limit shall be postponed to the next scheduled meeting.
What was this 2 years ago, huh? I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
We've never followed this, and it's never been an issue. I've never wanted to stop after, wow, I shouldn't say that. The thought of just postponing it to next week, or the following meeting is gonna make that meeting longer as well, so I think we should suspend that policy.
I think, Allison, refresh my memory though, if we want to, just get rid of the policy, then we will need to make a motion here
So the
tonight.
recommendation of legal is that because it is a codified policy for you guys, we would recommend that you do it via resolution. And so we need to come back at the next meeting with a resolution to do away with that.
Okay. Christine? Go
And
ahead.
I will say that for most of our cities, we do not have a rule book that limits, a policy that limits it to 90 minutes.
Christina, what's your thought?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need that in place. We've never adhered to it to begin with, so.
Okay. So let's bring it back as a resolution then to the next meeting then.
It's, I guess it's not on the agenda, but there's also a limit to 20 minutes on public comment.
That's the next item.
Sorry, I didn't see it printed out here, so.
Okay, we're on to item C then, discussion direction regarding city policy, council policy on the length of public comment. Well, Melissa, you're up.
Sorry about
You're up.
that. I have it here.
Okay.
Sorry. I thought it was on there and then I just didn't see it. Yeah, I am in favor of scrapping that. Having been at the podium and being told I couldn't speak because they had reached 20 minutes.
Susie Shoop.
Sorry.
If someone comes in and takes their time to come before city council to speak on an issue, we're here to serve the community and we were elected to do so. Because there were so many individuals ahead of them, I want to hear everyone who signed up to speak, whether it be 30 minutes or an hour. We may have some issues that are more complex and many members of the public who want to speak. And I think we've done a good job of telling them that if they're going to all say the same thing, to just say, I agree with the last person and maybe add whatever they want to add and keep the meeting flowing, so. That's my 2 cents.
I agree. I think we also have done a pretty good job of allowing those people that maybe would be here to talk about an item that's on the agenda to allow them to talk on the item on the agenda. And that maybe shorten some of that up as well.
And didn't we just address this when we said we weren't gonna put caps on our meetings anyway?
Maybe capping the.
This caps public
No, I
comment
understand,
section.
but that would have been more crucial if we were trying to condense the meeting to an hour and a half.
So, but here's the question I do have for you. Do you want to try to keep the 3 to 5 minutes as part of a discussion here, so you do give everybody time to speak? I mean, that's the question too.
I'm okay with that.
Personally,
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Christina.
no, I'm sorry. No, I was just gonna say personally, I think keeping the 3 to 5 minutes per person is okay, but do away with the overall time limit. That way, you know, you don't have somebody who monopolizes the entire time. But you also give everyone a chance to actually have, you know, a voice and say what they want to say.
And you're agreeing?
I agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah, we all agree.
I agree with that.
Council or staff, you have direction then? Bring that back in a resolution then? Okay. Are we okay, Allison, with that?
That's what
Okay.
I would recommend, because it is
Okay.
a written policy.
Okay. Okay, discussion direction regarding filling vacant budgeted positions. Jake, is this something you wanna talk about, or where do you wanna go here?
Yep, I'll just give a quick overview. City Council provided direction at a February 2025 study session that City Council approval is required for the filling of any new or vacant positions. City Council requested to revisit this discussion at the September 15th, 2025 City Council meeting. The city attorney was engaged to provide a memo on staffing and consideration of city code. The memo provides that City Council's authority lies in approving the creation of new roles, which may impact budget and organizational structure. The memo further provides that once a position is established and compensation set, the city manager has the authority to fill the vacancy. Staff recommends following the city attorney's conclusion as stated, and I quote, "Council should continue to approve the creation of new positions and any associated budget amendments. The city manager should retain authority to fill existing vacancies within the scope of positions already authorized and funded."
So if I'm reading this correctly, it's really a question by some point here that, in my opinion, and again, I don't have a vote on this, but I'm thinking that we trust staff to know what the budget is, whether or not we can afford the position, and that's their responsibility then to fill it or not. That's just kind of my thinking, but I don't know if that made any sense.
So I'm of the opposite
My only
mindset.
concern would be.
I'm sorry, Christina, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
My concern would be, you know, if it's a position that was removed from the budget originally because of budget issues, filling it after the fact, even though like room may become available in the budget. I guess that is what I would like to see brought back to council before it gets filled. Does that make sense?
So you're saying if we remove a position and it's not going, and remove it from our list of jobs that we have available, or not available, but list of jobs in the city, I mean, each role, each job we have listed somewhere, is that correct, as far as, in other words, we know how many, we have 6, let's say for instance, we have 8 people in the wastewater treatment facility, that's their maximum number.
Right.
Okay. So, and I'm not saying do this, but I'm saying if we remove one job for whatever reason in that particular department permanently, you're asking then to have that brought back to county. I think it would anyway, Christina, would it not?
Be adding a job.
Well,
Yeah, if we
and
wanted to
not
go back and add a
necessarily,
job, I think you would have to.
So I know, like, with all the changes that have taken place over the last year or 2 years, there's been a lot of changing in, like, position titles and stuff like that, and what certain positions hold. And at one point, we had talked about not hiring for certain positions because we were going to hire for XYZ position. And it was going to have a new, you know, job description, and it would include some of that. But then there was later discussion about hiring for the position that we had said, nope, we're not going to hire for. That is what I'm talking about, where there's not really an official removal of the position. It's just we're going to kind of draw a line through it and do this instead.
Jake, how would you handle that then as city manager? I mean, if that's something that we, you know, you'd kind of recommended, let's say you'd recommended that we not fill that position, but then we come back a little bit later, how would you normally handle that? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. You know, my interpretation of a situation that's being described is a situation where a city manager is not following the direction of city council. And to me, that is a performance issue and not in line with the ethics of our role and responsibility as city manager. So to me, that's more of a performance item. It's more of conduct that may not be in line with following city council direction, which us as professional city managers have a code of ethics for us to serve the community in line with the direction and policy set by council.
I get what you're saying, Jake, but unfortunately, we've experienced that in the past.
Yeah, we have.
Sadly. So, that's why I'm just trying to make sure that we're kind of covering all bases, because in the past, when that did happen, we as council really felt like we had no recourse. We had no course of action to deal with that situation.
I think to me, what I hear when I hear the words of legal opinion on this, it's the difference between oversight and management. Our job's oversight. His job's management. And and having not been here long enough, Christina, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not doubting any of that, but I said this a few meetings back, I think we gotta trust management to do its job. And if Jake's not doing that, then we've got an issue with Jake. But that we shouldn't be into the day-to-day operations and decisions with staff anyway. Our job is the oversight of that.
And Council, if I may, Jack, you just raised a really good point. The way our structure is set up, we have a salary resolution for every position as well. So council has a fail-safe with every position to deny the salary resolution to prevent a position from becoming effective.
So you guys are kind of touched on what I was gonna say, but do we need to do a supermajority vote since we're at 91?
I think we're on the way, that's on the way up.
So,
good point.
He's not wrong, though.
No, he's not. He's not.
I look at it as oversight of the budget. It was our direction to do that was to protect staff that was here when positions were being vacated to try to fill our budget deficit. So I'm looking at it as oversight of the budget, which is one of our primary goals, is the budget. We are the purse string holders. We control the purse string. So the game that we have to play is voting down a salary resolution. That's a pretty crappy way to go about things if we were deeming a position that we didn't want to be filled yet. So when we talk about existing positions, if this is the stuff we want to play, then in budget season, I would say every single position needs to be brought forward in budget season, justified and approved by us, so that we know every position that we have and that we're approving those positions individually, not holistically, because kind of what we get is just a big round number within your budget. So if that's what we want to do, then I would say every budget season, every position comes to us individually, is justified, signed off on by us, so that we know it's in the budget and that it's good, because the direction we gave was to protect staff that was still here to fill that deficit. So I don't want to ever have to vote down a salary resolution, but if we want to go existing positions, then every single budget year, we need to know what the existing positions are going to be.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think.
Are we the purse string controllers?
We are, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to, the thing that you gotta realize is, and to Bob's point about management and council policy, we know the budget, we should be knowing the budget, correct, that's right. And that is part of his evaluation when we get to that point in time too, is if he's not doing a good job managing the budget either, then that's something we need to take up with the city manager. I'm not gonna get into I don't have the vote, and you guys are running this show, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think you wanna be into micromanaging everything, and you're gonna lose a whole bunch of people when that whole situation happens. I see what you're saying.
And that's why we wanted to bring things back so we didn't have to do that. But
But
I
I
feel
don't think-
like we're
but I
getting
don't
our
think-
hand forced.
But I understand that, but I think you've got to trust staff enough that they're not gonna do those things knowing what the council members want. I think Jake's only been here 3 months plus, somewhere in that neighborhood, but I think he's got a pretty good handle on how the council feels. He's met with every one of you and does so on a regular basis. And those are your times to ask those tough questions too, in my opinion, of him. But I personally think that he pretty well understands, I shouldn't be speaking for him, but I think he pretty well understands most of where we're coming from on things. And for us to step in and say, you've got to come forward with this, and you've got to come forward with that, and you've got to come forward with this, to me is basically saying he's not doing his job, and when he is. I just think you've got to start trusting staff to make the right decisions in most of our cases here. Yes, we do have oversight, but that is our job as we go through this process when we need to do that. In this particular case, I think you've got to trust staff to make those right decisions.
So that's what I'm saying. If that's the decision they want to come with, then in every budget season, we need to know that. We need to know. Okay, we have had 2 budgets. We've not known. I voted no on one budget, and you all lost your mind and told me it's not a spending problem, it's a revenue problem, okay? All right, we didn't know jack about that budget, and we blew through our reserves like it was candy.
Well, we made a decision as a council.
Then we need to know what is in it. We've got to know what's in it then.
That's part of what you do. You've got a thing in there, you had a memorandum here this time going through with our notice of our amendment to what's going on, and all of the budgets and the claims were all there. That's all part of the process.
$2.5 million of extra spending, right?
Well, but that money is from grants and from carryovers from additional projects. My point with this is that you've got to start.
Not counted in the budget though, that we'd approved, right?
But we went from one budget year to the next budget year. You've got an ambulance we've been waiting on for almost 2 years now. We're finally gonna get that. You're moving that forward. That's a cost. Those things are there. But at the other side of that is we had collected almost a full year of tax money from our taxpayers. We had 351 days of reserves. And that was decided at that point in time to spend down to a point where we were within what we talked about as far as our budget policy is. 25 to 30% reserves. We had collected a full year's taxes from folks. Previous councils had done that, and that decision was made. But again, I'm gonna go back to the point here. You trust staff with doing the things that we entitle them to do. We can disagree.
No, I know, and I would say, and the decision was made, and then it was spent on things that weren't one-time expenses.
That's the point right there.
And that is the oversight that I'm saying, like, we don't know that in our budgets.
That
Like,
man right there.
That's what I
will do
heard.
that. Well, he will not do that.
But that
We
was
didn't
never
know
made
that we were
clear
blowing
to
the
us.
money on things that weren't one-time.
Yeah.
How are we gonna know then if we don't get it?
Well, Christina?
I was just agreeing with Steve that we were not made aware that they were being spent on one-time purchases.
More
than like there were a lot of things.
recurring, yeah. Right.
Or reoccurring, sorry,
Yeah.
not just one-time purchases.
Right. And that's
And-
true.
That is an issue, and do I think Jake would do that? No, but I do think, Jake's not going to be here forever, so maybe that's something that we need to consider having some kind of policy. Can we do a policy on it? So, down the road, I mean, who knows, maybe Jake's going to be here for 20 years, but.
We'll see, yeah. It's okay to disagree. I mean, I get it, and we're just coming from different spots here, and it's okay too, but, yeah.
I go back to the original, why we put this direction in place. And it's because we had an $800,000 budget shortfall. And we agreed with department heads that we would try, if we could, to fill that through attrition. And that is the reason that we said each backfill position would come before council for approval.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I guess, first of all, thank you for pointing out that it wasn't in our ordinance or policy. But at that time, I feel like it should have been up to Doug Fulton to tell us, hey, you can't do that because your policy doesn't say that you can. But we're neither here nor there. We now have the opinion from Allison. And we need to make a decision what we're going to do. Somehow we need to fill this hole in our budget, or we are going to be in a position where we have to decide what we do with staff and salaries. We didn't want to do that. And that's why we instead said we want to make a decision at with each position.
I think from my perspective, we had our previous city manager left in December. Doug Byland, I thought, did a great job. It's not his job. It wasn't his technical job to understand or know. He did, I thought I had a great job of knowing where the budget issues were and worked with you folks to do that. And that was really important that he did that. We had another interim city manager for a short period of time, as we all know. And I think what I'm getting to the point here is the turnover that we had in the last 8 months or 6 months previous to Jake coming was part of the issues at hand. And I think we have to start to a point, and your point, which is a valid point. We didn't know those expenses were gonna be on a reoccurring basis in some cases either, and I don't know where that was. Again, I think Doug Byland did a great job in his role as our interim city manager and worked his behind off with you guys and the budget stuff and trying to figure that out. And we needed that oversight at that time, in my opinion, because we didn't have somebody here that would be responsible long-term for those decisions. We hired that gentleman in May of this year. And I think we have to give that person, Jake, time to make sure that he follows those rules, and we follow and watch that. Again, this is just my opinion, but I look at that turnover, and that turnover not only dealt us this hand in budget issues, it dealt us this hand with a myriad of other things that we've been working with, whether it's the library or public safety building or the Regions building or everything else. And so we're now, to my opinion, just getting the rubber back on the road here is really what we're doing. And so I certainly hope that we give staff the time to show us that they can handle this effectively and not have to look at every little thing to go back to, let's go back to the policy, allow the policy to work, and then move from there. I will shut up. Well, it's
your ordinance.
It's our ordinance, I'm sorry, yes. But it's our policy based on our ordinance.
Yes, right.
Thank you for, yes, clarification.
You're absolutely right. I would just say that there are ordinances that kind of set out that division of what you guys do and what the city manager does. And, for a reason, right? Like, so
Right.
for some protection for you guys too, to give you a buffer from different potential hiring and firing issues.
Right.
And litigation that arises from that.
So what's the direction, folks?
I'm in favor of giving Jake the ability to backfill those vacant positions.
If he so thinks they need to be.
I was just say if he deems it necessary,
If he deems it necessary.
financially prudent.
Yeah, financially prudent, yes. Well, the rest of you.
I agree. I think we should be following our code for sure. I do agree with you, Mayor, that some of how we got here was just some very interesting leadership challenges over the last year or so that one thing we can all agree on is that we all agreed on Jake to lead our city forward. We went through that process together. These are the things you hire a city manager for, to manage the city. I do believe that our job is more oversight. I agree that we've gotten some really below average budget information there, Steve.
I agree too.
Ideally, we're moving past that. I do think that we are all more keenly aware of the shortcomings we've been given in the past. I do think Jake has set a good precedence already, as we've had staff depart, notifying all of us. We all have one-on-ones with Jake to share thoughts, feelings, concerns, have the ability to have discussion. But we also, me personally, don't need to have Doug come up here every time he needs to hire a part-time lifeguard that's in the budget, that's part of the seasonal work of what we do. So my preference would be that we continue to establish clear lines, allow us to be very clear in our roles, know what we're supposed to be doing, so we can do that very, very well. Make roles very clear for Jake, so he can do what he's supposed to be doing very, very well, and follow code going forward.
Any other comments?
Mayor, Council, I guess I'll just add one and kind of to Council Member Armstrong's point. In the budget and brief that we put out, we did list, maybe not the title of each position, but we do have the number of positions in our budget and brief that we have. As we continue through our future budget processes, I'm certainly happy to show and break those down further to show how many staff we have within each department, and make it very clear for members of the council, mayor, and the public on any changes there within, additions or deletions as we go through our budget cycle. So I don't know, that would necessarily be to the point of justifying each position, but we can certainly show very clearly the number of positions that we have year from year and clearly explain any changes there too, so that council is well informed on any additions that may come in the future or deletions as well.
I think that would be a good thing.
So I have a feeling, Christina, you have any other comments?
No, I mean, I would be, what Jake just said would, appease me a little bit on that. Like I said, my concern wasn't necessarily ones that were already in the budget, it was ones that weren't in the budget.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So what do you need from us then? We got an idea here where we're going?
Mayor and council, I'm gonna follow code, so that's what I take away from the discussion.
Okay. Any other discussion for this, or otherwise we'll move on? Hearing none, discussion and action regarding future agenda items. Is there anything anybody wants to bring up? If not, Jake, now you get to do your city manager's report.
Well, I got 3 words out last time, so I'll make sure I cut those out.
Okay.
The library will be closed from October 13th to 15th to allow for the skylights that had been previously damaged, so the final repair contractor is set up for the 13th to the 15th, just so members of the public are aware of that closure. We do have 2 open positions right now, one being the Public Works Director that we are actively recruiting for. That position is open and will close on October 24th. It's been open for a week. We've got about 5 candidates so far, so we'll continue to monitor applications as they come in. The Chief of Police is also open. That position will close on October 27th. So the month of November is setting up to be interview season for some of us. We do also have about 5 candidates for that position so far as well. So we're seeing some interest in those positions. We have about 3 or so weeks left on each of them. We'll continue to look for those numbers to increase as we vet and review those candidates as they come in. City Council did approve a couple of staffing studies a couple meetings ago, I believe. Those are both currently underway. On the public safety staffing study with the Center for Public Safety Management, they've held individual kickoff meetings with both police and fire personnel. They've made a data request of each of those departments so they can start their data analysis. They've also reached out to Warren County Dispatch for their computer-aided dispatch software data as well, so they can start putting that data report together in its entirety. On the non-public safety side, the consultant has started to collect those peer comparison data information as well. We've had to reach out to a couple of our peers to see if we can find some information that wasn't readily available on our website, but they are compiling that as we speak. We're having a formal kickoff this week with the consultant just to go over expectations, reaffirm our timeline, so on and so forth. We anticipate that public safety analysis to be done in March, April of 2026, based on a 6-month timeframe to complete. The non-public safety study is about 7 weeks, so shorter duration. Would expect that to complete in December of 2025 as we work into our budget season. I do also want to congratulate Councilmember Sones. She was awarded the Certified Elected Municipal Official designation by the Iowa League of Cities, so congratulations on achieving that accomplishment.
Yes, very definitely, a lot of hours.
I have a question. Can you explain the interview process for the chief of police?
We're still in the process of formulating that, so that's something we can discuss at a later date.
Okay, thank you.
So with that, we are moving then to, if I'm not mistaken here, we need to go into a closed session in accordance with Iowa Code Section 2151C to discuss strategy with legal counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent and where disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the government. With that said, I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Ray,
Aye.
Dalby,
Aye.
Armstrong.
Aye.
Sones.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is Christina still on?
She is.
Okay.
I am.
What's that?